Rangers have it. Shot by Zibanejad. Save. Rebound. Score!
New York Rangers come to Chicago. Second day of a back-to-back. And they win it 6-2.
Mortimer, we're back.
Stolen. 2-on-1 coming in. Left of the net. It's fired. They score! Snipping. Bruins losing along the wall. Lead. Backhand. He scores!
That's good. In the zone, Panarin dropped to Lafreniere. He shoots. He scores! Breakaway, Lafreniere. That's good.
Pasternak. Zaka centers, deflected, he
He's checked by Houston, and it's gone.
Horvat, game on his stick, into the slot, shoots, he scores.
That's good. In the few overtime games they played in front, they score. Jamie Benn, a deflection. Ooh, that's bad. You blew it!
You know, after all that, I forgot to do a Big Apple Hockey intro on that. So that's a quick summarization of this last week for the Rangers and the Islanders. An amazing just last 24 hours, to say the least, if you're the New York Rangers. And welcome back, everybody, to Big Apple Hockey. It is great to have you all back. And I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams, who is heading to Sin City tomorrow morning for both games to see the Rangers and the Islanders this weekend. I'm going to be seeing a good team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. More on them later. And I'm joined by the one and only Mr. John Filkowski.
Like the caption says, I got nothing.
Yeah, it sucks to have nothing right now. And yeah, that is our lead. Anthony LaRocco will be joining us in a moment from the Hockey News, everybody. And make sure you are liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell. But let's go to the A block, Phil, where the New York Rangers blew it last night. They could have had 3 wins in a week. It would have been their first back-to-back wins in over 2 months. Almost 2 months. Sorry, 6 weeks, whatever. Still, it's been a long time. By the way, Big Apple Hockey hats are available. Click the link below. Also some t-shirts. And the A block is powered by Seat Geek. Use the promo code BigAppleHockey. $20 off your first order. I just use Seat Geek. And again, it's always amazing to use. But the Rangers, 2-1-1 in the last week, failed to win back-to-back games for the first time since November 17th and 19th. And that's too long, Phil. They fall in their second overtime game of the season. I can't grasp this one, Phil. They've only played 2 overtime games, and the last one was the second game of the season. So after 60 minutes, just yikes. And they're 4 points back of the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're going to be talking about them more in Bar Talk later. And Jonathan Quick does not win game number 400 after having a 3-0 lead. Bilk, did the New York Rangers blow it?
It's pretty much. I mean, you blow a 3-goal lead, and then you lose the game in overtime after gaining a 4-3 lead. It's just too many mental mistakes happening in short spans of time. And it seems like every time a mental mistake happens, a breakdown happens, it ends up in the back of the net. The defense, something needs to happen. Something needs to change. People keep talking about getting Phil Housley fired. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what the difference is between this year and last year, and how when they make those same mistakes last year, they didn't end up in the back of the net. Now they end up in the back of the net every time. It's just so much to wrap your head around, and I used to have a lot of answers for things. I don't have the answers to these anymore. I feel like we're just watching 2 different versions of the same team. Just I don't even know anymore. Keandre Miller, I can't with him. I really can't. It's just, at what point does why does he continue to get chances? Why does he continue to get chances when this guy blows up left and right? I must be watching like ass backwards world, because Peter Laviolette talks about everything being a meritocracy, and yet this guy makes dumb play after dumb play, and he's still same thing with Ryan Lindgren. They make terrible plays after terrible plays, and they're still in the lineup. I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, I listen, if this team's quit, by all means, just start throwing out the younger guys. Let the younger guys play. Let the veterans just get mad and whatever at this point. Let chaos ensue. But this team is just, it's a shell of itself, and it's tough to watch right now.
I got 100% agree with this, Phil. Yeah, they blew it last night. It would have been a golden opportunity for them. Now, by the way, you might want to say, Mark, they only lost 1 point. It's still a loss. It's a loss. That's the only way to look at it. You did not win back-to-back games for the first time since November 17th and 19th. Those words should not be coming out of my mouth. You haven't won back-to-back games in 2025. You haven't won them in the last month of 2024 since before Thanksgiving. Give me a break. Now, back to what you're saying before about the meritocracy, Phil. It's horrible. On every level, it's horrible. Because this is what happens when you have veterans that just run the room and they say, well, we're getting our ice time. Doesn't matter about anybody else. There was never any investment when Kakko was here. And I'm going to go back to this. Yes, I will. Because Filipino should get more playing time. Will Cooley should get more playing time. Zach Jones should get any playing time over Ryan Lindgren, who is nowhere near what he used to be. And then I think one of the comments we had earlier was, and one of the problems was playing Panarin in overtime. Yeah, Johnny put it up there. You got to play Panarin because he's your best player. But, I mean, and look, Phil, even though you can even pick out the last goal, yes, Miller turned the puck over. And then a chain of events had to happen. Steele had to make a great play. Then he had to go on the boards, make a great pass, and Harley had to pick the corner. But all those things happened simply because Keandre Miller couldn't go up the boards and out, or couldn't go off the boards behind the net. Give Lindgren a million years time. And we're going to go through this again later. We'll show the play in Bar Talk because we're going to get more detailed about Keandre Miller. But Phil, this is unacceptable from this team. And again, we're trying not to point the finger at Peter Laviolette. But there's a clear divide between the young guys and the vets.
Why is it that we've had like 3 players now, at least 2 that we know of, and I believe there's been 3 players this year that have come out and said something about, veterans getting the time over the young guys. So, I mean, Kakko and Jones for sure. I'm pretty sure there's a third one that I'm missing.
It's just, if you're not going to play them, then what are they doing here? That's what it comes down to. And the truth is, I kind of like what Will Borgen's been bringing. I mean, I'm going to butcher his name. Vakanainen?
Yeah, you got it. Close enough.
Okay, cool. Vakanainen hasn't been bad. I mean, yeah, it went off his stick on the first goal last night.
No, he let Jamie Benn just get behind him.
Yeah, all right. That's true too. But I mean, the first goal though, I think it hit it off his stick and went in, right? If I recall correctly. Anyway, but Phil, you can't have this. And everything that the Rangers hung their hat on last year, strong power play, decent 5-on-5. No, that's an easy one to spell. But Phil, this is they don't have a strong power play, so you took away the one thing that they do well. They're not even doing that well. They get a power play goal last night. Vinny Trocheck had a great game last night, I thought. But they always leave you scratching your head. And if they won this game, it would have been another win. They would have been 3 points back at Columbus for the final wild card spot. And all the mediocrity is doing is keeping their hope alive.
I can listen to you utter those words. They're behind Columbus in the standings.
Yep.
Like, what?
You know another team they're behind? Montreal. Think about that one for a second.
No, Columbus is even worse because Montreal has a good, young, talented core. Like they're just a few years away from being that team with some right additions. Columbus lost Johnny Gaudreau, and everybody thought that they were going to be battling for the number 1 overall pick. Like, what? It's pathetic, man. It's pathetic.
It is. And again, you look at the players in that room. Where's the leadership group? You've been on this for years.
It's funny because this comment kind of leads into this comment.
Brody Bro saying, yeah, Miller wants a pay raise according to his agent.
Get out of here. Go away.
Yeah.
Go away. Trade him, please.
Miller is still a developmental player. We're what? 5 seasons in now with him?
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, yeah.
Yeah. 5 seasons in with Keandre Miller. I like him. Go learn it somewhere else. But then what happens with the Rangers, as it was talked about all week, supposed trade offer for JT Miller, then you end up not developing your players. Then you end up wanting them back and then thinking, oh, that's going to work. That's just as stupid. So
I think they should just tank and just try to get the best possible pick that they can get and get rid of everybody that they can by the deadline, including Chris Kreider. But this is really it for me. Like he's a head case. Everything is mental with him. Everything is mental. It's not the physical tools. It's the mental. It's the consistency of playing physical. It's the consistency of doing the little things that make you a good defenseman. He just doesn't have it up here. And I have no problem letting him figure it out elsewhere. Because if he's going to, I don't think he will. I really don't. I think when the issues are that much mental, I think it's much harder to figure out than it is when it's physical. Because when it's physical, you can do the little things that make you better, and it's just repetition and practice and so on. When it's mental, a lot of the times, especially playing defense, it's a high-pressure position, and you have to process the game quickly. I don't know if he processes the game quickly enough to be a top-level NHL defenseman. Can he be a good defenseman in a sheltered role? Yeah, I think he can. But for what he wants to be and what he wants to be paid, nope. Go figure it out elsewhere.
I tweeted this out earlier today that remember what was it? Again, I think we're up to 5 years now. When Ranger fans were giving the absolute business to Brady Shea all the time. Brady Shea, you can't spell giveaway without, giveaway rhymes with Shea. I think some people have tweeted out. Phil, it's basically the same thing, except Miller's getting a bit of a pass compared to everything else. And, actually, Vitaly's saying it right here that forget the giveaway itself, the simple route he took with that puck in front of his own net after telling Lindgren, I got it, right. He doesn't look. And I understand he was a forward, and I know there's going to be somebody saying something stupid like that. Oh, he was a forward, man. Give him a break.
He's been playing defense for close to 10 years now. You know what? The thing is that he wasn't good enough to make it at the lower levels as a forward. He switched to playing defense. You came up here. You want to be paid to be a top 4, top 3, whatever it is, defenseman that he wants to be paid like. You cannot do that. I would trade him as quickly as possible because his next contract is going to be a big mistake for this team.
Yeah, hands down. And for the New York Rangers, they have to take the hard look in the mirror and say, these guys stay, these guys aren't going to stay. And it's funny because Phil, we're 8 months removed now from this team could win a Stanley Cup. Now you can't even see them beat a playoff team.
Yeah, and they're definitely not going all in. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, Darius just said right here, well, they're going to go all in. Well, the temptation is you got to go all in because you're paying a goaltender $11.5 million next year.
Stupid.
And it's just
that's Mark, why you need to find the Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston stupid clip. And that every time that Igor Shesterkin deal gets brought up, You need to play that.
Yeah, I mean, I always have the guy from UHF, the Weird Al Yankovic movie, just going stupid. I have that one ready to go, but not right now on here. And by the way, Phil, I have to address this one because guys have asked me this question. Do you think the Rangers could trade Shesterkin before the extension kicks in? And
I don't know if
stop.
anybody will take him at $11.5 million. Who's going to take him like that?
Phil, it gets even worse. You can't do it. You can't do it even if you want to. Then you're telling me that, let's say Alexei Lafreniere, they're going to trade him away after he signed an extension to stay here. What you're really telling every player is that your word means nothing. This is not the Jacob Trouba situation where you don't perform, get the hell out. You don't do this, get the hell out. This is, or Barclay Goodrow getting around the no trade clause or whatever. But this is that would be much worse. Then you're never going to be able to sign any free agents. Then everybody would turn away from you. They're not going to give a crap if you're original six or that you're.
I'm with Matt. I would trade him if they could. I don't care. I think the idea of paying a goaltender to be the greatest thing since sliced bread when he's clearly not is just an absolutely ridiculous contract. I don't understand it. Like you wanted to pay this guy like he was Dominic Hasek winning Vezina trophies behind Alex Zhitnik, Jay McKee, and Rhett Warrener. Like, no, that's not the case. He wasn't doing that. He was winning Hart and Vezina trophies behind those guys while getting 4 or 5 total Norris votes in the 6 Vezina wins that he got. Like, it's crazy. Like, you don't pay a goaltender like that when he needs a mental reset every year and when he's this inconsistent. Like, I'm sorry, but like outside of 21-22, he's been that inconsistent. So you can't trade that. And the people tell me that, he would have gotten $13 million in the open market. If you think that, I have oceanfront property in Nebraska to sell you. Like, if you think that anyone was going to pay a goaltender almost $6 million more than Connor Hellebuyck, you are out to lunch.
And there's only about a 2 or 3 year, a 2-year difference, I believe, between the two of them. He's going to turn 30 the first year the contract kicks in. So you're going to pay him $11.5 million when he's 38. I don't give a crap about the cap percentage. I don't give a crap about the cap. That's ludicrous.
It is. And the worst part about it is that you're only giving yourself about 2 to 3 years to win. Because you're pumping the first 2 to 3 years because you're going to have to rebuild now. And then you're going to give yourself maybe 2 to 3 years to win. And then you're going to have 2 to 3 years of a completely overpaid backup goaltender who's well on the decline. And I don't understand how you gave him that contract. They didn't learn from Henrik. They didn't learn from Henrik.
And the difference is between Henrik and everyone else, Phil. Henrik played 70 games in a season. Shesterkin plays far less.
Henrik also carried worse teams.
Yeah, it's not even close. All right, guys, we're going to pivot to the New York Islanders because, but we're still waiting on Anthony. We're trying to kill a little bit of time. But the Islanders, bit of a slow week for them. They were 1-1 last week. They lost a 4-2 lead to Boston in the third period. Who would have thought? And before Horvat scored the winner. So as I showed in the beginning, so the Islanders didn't blow it. And Anders Lee in that game, 2 goals, 18 on the year. He is just playing really well. Phil, does this give you any optimism towards the Islanders right now? And we're going to get into a controversial play from the Maple Leafs game in a moment.
I don't know how it could give me any more optimism than before because it's really kind of the same results with this team. They'll maybe win a game or two, and you're like, okay, they lost 3 in a row before this. They lost back-to-back to Toronto, and then they had a home with Pittsburgh as well, and then they lose one of those games after beating them 6-3 the night before. So for me, I don't understand how I can have more optimism. And looking at their schedule, you got Vegas tomorrow night, which is going to be a tough game for them.
Mm-hmm.
Utah, they're not the same old Coyotes that we know or that we knew before. They're playing much better hockey, if you ask me. Ottawa is playing better hockey. It looks like they're fighting for a spot. Philadelphia, you never know. San Jose is not a rollover game. Columbus is not a rollover game. I mean, their schedule is not exactly – it's not murderer's row, but it's not easy either. And I can't say that over the last week and change that I see anything to be more optimistic about. They blow another lead and they get the overtime winner this time. Like, good for them to get it. Yeah, Coyotes as in what they were previously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't see anything different. I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about them getting the overtime winner, great. I mean, they kind of had to at that point. You lose another game, you lose 4 games in a row at that point. It doesn't look good. I just, if you want to build on something, I guess you could build on that one goal, but like, I don't know. I can't really talk about optimism there when they're still showing the same habits. They're still blowing leads. They're still there's the same holes are still there. Yeah, they're scoring a little more. I guess that's something you could look towards too. But I mean, they only scored 3 goals against Toronto in that home and home. 2 goals against Toronto, and then they scored 2 goals against Pittsburgh in that last game. So it's just seems like their wins, they're getting decent amounts of goals in. Like if you look at their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the last 8 wins, they've all had 3 or more goals in. And the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 6 have all been 4 or more goals. So, I mean, that's something I guess I would hang my hat on, is that when they're winning, they're scoring a lot. But when they're losing, they're not exactly scoring a ton of goals, and they're letting up a lot as well. I mean, some of those losses are just bad, like Buffalo.
That's the worst one that you could think of. And the worst thing about it is you kind of wasted a good season out of Ilya Sorokin. And he was top 10 and everything and then they basically exhausted him. And now they're hoping to get Varlamov back soon and give him a rest. Play the kid, play Hogberg. I mean, they
definitely don't want to play Deaconin. They're not going to call him up. He's been crap in the minors.
Right. That. But as we got finally our resident Islander expert, Mr. Anthony Rocco from the Hockey News. Anthony, with the Islanders this week, they blow the lead against the Bruins, but they're able to win in overtime. Did the Islanders give you a reason for optimism?
No, I don't think either of the New York hockey teams gave reason for optimism. It's just what it is. I mean, the Islanders beat a Bruins team that's actually, what are they, 0-4-1 in their last 5 or something along those lines. They're struggling. The Rangers waxed a bad Blackhawks team. Okay, I mean, the Rangers are scoring a little bit more, give them that, against Washington and Dallas, but there's still big issues there. So, yeah, no, to answer that question, it's a big fat no on both accounts. And the one thing I'll say is that the East is really bad right now. I mean, you're talking about the Blue Jackets, the Canadiens, the Senators, the Penguins. They just keep taking turns holding that second wild card spot. And that's really the only reason why the Islanders or Rangers even have a chance of getting back in it, because all these teams ahead of them are just as bad as they are. They just have found ways to string more wins together. But I mean, the Canadiens, it's just the Blue Jackets. Come on, they're they're not good teams. And, the Islanders and Rangers are lucky that it's not a stronger conference right now that they could have ran away with that spot. With that said, though, my message to really both New York general managers is, don't be fooled. Yes, the East sucks right now in the bottom half, but it would be foolish for either of them to spend assets to try to get into the playoffs, because while the teams at the bottom are bad, the teams at the top, the Devils, even the Capitals, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, any of those teams would have a field day with the Islanders or Rangers if they got that last wild card spot.
Oh yeah.
So it would be a losing proposition to do so. So yeah, I mean, while there's still technically hope for both teams to maybe string, 4 wins in a row and get back into a spot, but I still wouldn't be, liking their chances if they actually stayed there and got in. So that's just my take on it right now. I think honestly, both teams are probably what's best for them is to sell the assets that they could realistically sell, collect some, picks and just kind of do what the Capitals did, right? Kind of retool on the fly in the offseason and just turn the page and start fresh. But right now, New York hockey isn't very good. When you include the Sabres too.
Oh,
yeah. Oh God.
Real bad.
I was gonna say, just to kind of expand on what you were saying, I have no reason to be optimistic about either team when they're doing the same things.
Yeah.
And they're coming out with almost the same results with a coin flip away. The Islanders were a coin flip away from losing that game.
Yeah.
Horvat made the great play and scored after they blew another lead. How many leads have they blown going back to the start of last year? Like that, 2-goal leads in the third period. It's insane to think about. And the Rangers, they're doing the same thing now. They're doing the same damn thing. And it's the same usual suspects every friggin' time. Keandre Miller, where's your daily giveaway? Ryan Lindgren, where's your daily giveaway? Who are you going to give the puck away to now and turn the puck over on? Who's going to beat you in a 50-50 race to score a goal?
Well, it wasn't a 50-50 race against Jordan Kyrou when he literally left him a drop pass.
All right. So, to be fair, Jordan Kyrou has won an all-star speed skating competition. He's won fastest lap. He's one of the top 5 fastest skaters in the NHL. But the fact that Lindgren still wasn't able, 3 steps ahead of Kyrou, and Kyrou still just blew by him, shoved him off, and scored that goal. And Ryan, please, we love what you've done for us, but I think it's time for you to step down, man. I think your body is just done, broken in pieces. Yeah. I think the duct tape is finally tearing apart.
And they need to figure out whether or not Zach Jones can play. But as I said, for both of these teams, and I'll quote Rounders again, guys. I know we're tired of hearing me say it, but you sit down at a poker table, you look around, and in 30 minutes, if you can't spot the sucker, you are the sucker. Both these teams are last place teams for a reason right now. And you can't go, hey, it lightens up because you got Philadelphia coming next week or Columbus. They're ahead of you in the standings. So let's get that one.
I don't know. Fucking crazy too.
I don't know if you guys saw Arthur Staple tweeted earlier that he was flying out to Vegas, so he had time to take questions. And I was reading through it, and someone asked him the odds of Lindgren being traded. He actually said 100%. He had it at 100%.
I mean, they kind of the writing was on the wall when they gave him that 1-year deal. That was really it, and his play has dropped off faster than. Oh God, I don't even know what you can make the analogy to. His play is literally a dumpster fire, rolling down Lombard Street in San Francisco.
Yeah,
that's literally what his play is.
But Keandre is just as bad. Keandre, I don't know what happened to him, but
don't worry, Anthony. We're going to be talking about Keandre Miller in a minute. But first, let's get back to the Islanders. Just to close out one thing, there was a bit of controversy last Thursday night when Max Domi was not called for an elbow, Was this an elbowing call, Anthony? As I got the
I didn't see this. I want to see
the media coming up for that. Let's just play that for you right now.
It was one of those reverse. It was like a reverse hit, and Domi got, he got his elbow up high. I don't think he intended to hit George in the head. I think he went to typically do the reverse hit where he sees him coming and tries to make body contact, but nonetheless, the elbow did get up there, and George is still out.
You can't really see anything.
Oh, I got it right here.
It's small. Sorry, I wish there was a full screen.
No, I was trying to get it for everybody else. I'll expand it for you right now, then, and make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
that's for me. There we go, guys.
Which is a shame because Jordy's out. So
yeah, the problem with the reverse hits. We'll get rid of the banner because it's just.
Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah.
Just want to go back.
The problem with the reverse hits is that you could.
Oh, it's also ESPN. You know how great they are with camera angles.
Yeah, that's true.
Here you go. Here's another one that's a little bit closer, and you can see how much the Islanders took a little bit of umbrage at this.
Oh yeah. Well,
in that case, do you have to look at it and think reverse hits need to be removed? Even though you had great players like Peter Forsberg,
who was the inventor of it,
king of the reverse hit. But then think about it last year. I forgot which Ranger is the one that did it. I think it might have been Chris Kreider that got Mikhail Sergachev, broke his leg. He was out the rest of the regular season. Kreider. All right. So.
But that was a weird. Yeah. I would say it was the back of. Oh, J.E., you know what? You probably did because I was there. I was there for AEW. It was a Sunday game, right? Against who the hell were they playing? But AEW was at Hammerstein, Manhattan Center, and I was with a friend. So yeah, if you think you saw me, it was likely me.
Well,
oh no, Rich is right. It was Laffy.
Laffy's the one that got Sergachev. Yeah. Thanks. But I mean, it's rough. It's rough. But then, do you know what can make you guys? What can make any New York hockey fan, even Anthony? Anthony's not a Ranger fan, but it'll make him feel good to see this because if you think the Keandre Miller giveaway is bad, check this out.
Settles everything down. I think he just thought maybe it was underneath his equipment because he doesn't react quickly. He's like kind of looking, and then it's just banked off the backboards. Looks like Trouba bounces it off the back of the boards, John, right?
I mean, how does Jacob Trouba do that?
He's so bad.
How is that even possible?
Bad. Oh my God. It's so funny watching him just do the same dumb shit in Anaheim. It's validation that he was a problem, an absolute problem. Not that we needed the validation, but it's like, okay, like he's not our problem anymore. Thank fucking God.
I had somebody telling me last week, they're like, oh, he's playing well in Anaheim. Sure he is. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Anthony, we're going to go more into the Anders Lee surgeons in a moment. We will still be saying that.
Hold on.
Okay, Jay's saying that Daniel Sprong could be a good pickup for the New York Islanders.
Yeah, so he was waived today. The Islanders right now, as you know, Mark, you're going out there to Vegas. They only have 12 healthy forwards right now. They didn't because Holmstrom's still out, Fashing's out. They didn't call anybody up. So they're a little banged up right now. And obviously right now you have Martin and Engvall playing in the bottom six, two guys that, don't really provide much. So, especially for what he makes, he's worth a waiver claim. I mean, he had back-to-back 40-plus point seasons in 22, 23, and 23, 24. He's struggled this year with Vancouver and Seattle. But, when you're thin at forward, it couldn't hurt to claim him. So, we'll see. I even saw some, Ranger fans on my timeline talking about Drury claiming him, but I don't. After claiming Kaliev, I don't see him being claimed by the Rangers. But he's a good middle six forward. When he has when he has his head on right and he's actually putting in the effort, he's a guy that could score 20 goals, 45 points. So, yeah, it's worth a claim. We'll see what happens.
Anthony, just before we go to Bar Talk, this was a question State of Survival had. What happened to Fasching? Never saw any injury that he had.
Yeah, he got banged up. Not the Boston game, the game before that. He's had a tough go between last year and this year. But yeah, he's out right now. I don't think it's long term though.
And Jay is saying he could see Sprong going to the Islanders, the Ottawa, or the Devils. Wow, if he goes to the Devils, that's just going to really strengthen that team up and getting them ready for the long run. All right, everybody, we are going to get a quick message from DraftKings and go right to our NHL Bar Talk. Hockey fans light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sports app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN.
Shot. This is the easiest I've ever to answer.
I'm going to say beer. I can't even begin to describe.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. Well, we're going to get to that highlight again in a moment, everybody. But welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on these NHL topics based on our choice to drink. So confident that you're buying around? So. I'll have a beer or, oh, God, I need a shot. Play along in the comments below, everybody. And, of course, feel free to suggest a topic. Maybe the guys will choose one later on. But let's get to that K'Andre Miller talk I spotted or hinted to in the first segment. But K'Andre Miller will be an RFA at season's end with misplays like the one you accidentally just saw right here. The more you think about that, and guys, feel free to scrub backwards. That is just such an awful turnover. Philk, the Rangers cannot bring K'Andre Miller back next season. Hold on, I'm getting it. It's I'm assuming you need the hoop. So there's the cheers, and there's the layup. You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. You're muted.
I got him.
Muted.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got
I get the hoop. I don't understand how anyone can even say beer. I mean, how this guy's asking for more money to be a complete head case? No. They were right to not give Brady Shea the money. To deal Brady Shea when they dealt him. They got Braden Schneider out of it. I don't understand how you could even try to attempt to bring this guy back when it's 3 months or 4 months of terrible play. Then it's like 2 months of really good play, and then we're not going to sit around and wait forever for this guy to figure it out at a super high salary. No thanks. Goodbye.
Yeah. Anthony?
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to trade him. I don't know if he's going to go at the deadline. He might, but definitely the summertime. But either way, you move on from him. Because just because, like Phil said, if the guy wants a raise, it wouldn't be worth it to do. So I would try to move him in a hockey trade or move him in a deal where you're bringing back a good piece for a long term, but I think I just think you have to move him. I think at this point too, it's the situation where he could use a fresh start himself, and which I'm sure he'd probably welcome it. So if Drury can move him this season, great. If not, definitely move him in the summertime.
Of course, guys, it's a hat trick, and I'm going to say beer as well on this. Sorry, round as well, I mean. But this is, here it is. This, kind of getting tired of hearing the words, young player needs a fresh start. Rangers really kind of let him down. Miller's the one guy they really invested in. They really tried to make Miller work. It's not working. It's not working. You're going to have to move on. And just, it's a shame. Good kid. He could probably flourish somewhere else. Sorry, but they got to move on without you. One guy that succeeded when another player moved on was Anders Lee. He has scored his 16th and 17th goals this season, just the other night. And he's going to be a UFA after next year. The Islanders captain, he's been fantastic for them since John Tavares left. Anthony, with the way he's playing, though, Anders Lee will not be an Islander on March 8th.
Philk and I had the same reaction to your lead in there with Anders Lee. I don't know, I'm not quite sure what you said.
I'm not.
Well, I was trying to say that, Tavares left, he flourished.
I mean, no, this is a shot. I mean, I think Nelson and Palmieri are going to move on at the deadline if the Islanders are out of it. I think it's time that Lou is going to concede there if things keep trending the direction that they're in. I mean, granted, if they're still 4 or 5 points out, he might not, which I disagree. I think even if they are 4 points out at this point, you have to recognize that it's like I just said when I came on, it's time to try to retool on the fly, get some assets. So I would move Nelson and Palmieri even if that's the case. However, with Anders Lee, it's different. He's the captain. Lou has a lot of loyalty there. He has another year left at $7 million. I mean, even though he's playing better this year, it's still a lot for a team to take. So when you combine all that, I think it equals Lee staying an Islander. I would be shocked if Anders Lee was traded at the deadline. I would say honestly, it's probably less than a 2% chance that he's traded. I think it's that low. So Nelson and Palmieri likely, but Lee, no, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Bilk?
I was torn between shot and beer, just because I feel like maybe there is somebody that comes to Lou Lamoriello and sees, and says, hey, I'd like Anders Lee for a playoff run plus, like 2 playoff runs.
Yeah.
And they see a guy that scores those dirty goals when you need him to. You can maybe a team that needs help on the power play, you could put him in front. He can score you some power play goals there. Leadership. I mean, he kind of has the qualities that a lot of teams are going to be looking for at the deadline. But it's also going to be harder with a bigger contract in that extra year. So I do think that a lot of people are right when they say that this could be either an all-season move or a next year deadline move. So I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go shot. I think it's going to be a tougher deal because of the extra year of term. I think once teams figure out their off seasons, I would be shocked though if Lamoriello dealt him in the off season. Unless somebody came with an offer that absolutely blew his socks off, which, I mean, I guess is possible. But I feel like, if anything, he's probably a goner at next year's deadline if the Islanders aren't playing well.
Realistically, I can only see really one situation where it could happen because he still has a no-move clause that's on. So this is really the only situation I can think of. The Islanders are out of it. Lou Lamoriello is considering a rebuild. He's a very loyal guy. Where else would he be loyal? Maybe to Lee's home state of Minnesota, where the GM is a former Lou player who we won a Stanley Cup with. And maybe Bill Guerin comes in and goes, you know something? Let's try to make a deal. I could use him. Maybe they need a little bit more toughness, experience. And I'll tell you what, that his play has been good enough that people could start really paying attention to trying to get him at the deadline. Like that was a snipe that he had on Korpisalo the other night.
Yeah, no, he's played the best hockey that he has in a while, and he worked out this offseason with Adam Oates, and whatever he did, it paid off. The other night they said that he actually, Mark, it might have been on that goal against Boston, but they said just recently he hit a 21 miles per hour skating speed the other day, and which he's never done ever. Like Anders Lee, to reach that level, he worked a lot on his skating and his game, and it is paying off. But again, I'd be surprised if he's moved. And Mark, you wrap this up in the bow, which is Lou doesn't sell. So if the Islanders are 4 points out, I don't think he's going to move anybody, and I think a lot of Islander fans are going to be really, really pissed about that if he doesn't move guys like Nelson and Palmieri at the deadline. But that's just his train of thought.
Yeah, Lou is a builder, not a demolition man. That is for certain. Let's move on to another Metropolitan team that is leading in the wild card right now. Who'd have thought it? The Columbus Blue Jackets right now, wild card 2, 42 points. Kirill Marchenko, 45 points this season, 17 goals, 28 assists. Mr. LaRocco, I'm going to go right back to you. Kirill Marchenko is the best under-the-radar player in the NHL.
So I think in terms of he's the best under-the-radar player in the NHL for the season he's having this year. Overall, best under-the-radar player, I don't know, but he's definitely having kind of like an unnoticed season this year. I mean, 45 points in 41 games playing for the Blue Jackets. That's really impressive. He's clearly a younger player that's maybe starting to come into his own. I mean, Dylan Strome is over a point per game, but I feel like he has a little more fanfare to him just because of his draft status. So, I mean, he would be in the mix of guys having a under the radar really good season. But if I had to pick, I would give it to Marchenko. I mean, I think, he's a guy that, I mean, most people don't really think of too much, and he's over a point per game. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say round on this one.
All right, Phil.
I can't add much else to that. I mean, you pretty much said everything that I could have basically said. I mean, they're just the help on that team is not really for all the young pieces that they have. You'd figure that they would be better. Like Zach Werenski, actually, for me, is having a year that I never thought he would have. I think he's somebody you could put in that discussion as well. Sean Monahan. Who thought Sean Monahan would have 41 points in 41 games for Columbus? Dmitry Voronkov is another one you could put up there.
Yeah.
And you're not even – and Kent Johnson, only 27 games, and he's got 23 points. Cole Sillinger, even though he fumbled the bag with Tate McRae, is has 22 points in 40 games. Fantilli showing signs, but not there yet. They've got pieces that you thought would be the guys that would be taking those next steps, but they haven't taken that big breakout step yet. And when you have guys like Marchenko and Voronkov doing a lot of the work, that's pretty damn good. So yeah, I'm gonna say round. But I think there's other guys that you could include in that tier.
I wouldn't say Kyle Connor is an underrated star.
Not anymore. No, not anymore. If you know things about hockey, anything with Kyle Connor, he's going to be mentioned a lot with the Americans coming up in the Four Nations. So I agree with you on that one. I'm gonna go round on this.
By the way, Mark, cut you up. Alexei Protas, that's another good one. Protas is having a good year for Washington.
Yeah. Really good year, really good. And he's I think he's playing with my favorite Malcontent, PLD. So
we knew Mark had to get that in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? There's no complaints about him this year, so maybe he's matured. And if that's the case, Good for Washington. Good
Mark,
for him.
Do you want to fit a Cam Talbot or an Ebola reference in there while you're at it?
No. Team Ebola. That is what I call them. But I am going to go round on this. Part of me can't help but say this though, guys. Who's the leading scorer of the New Jersey Devils?
It's not Jack Hughes. I know that.
Yeah. How many times do you guys want to say Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier? It's Jesper Bratt.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about Jesper Bratt. And see, that's what it feels like. So I am going to go round because even less people are talking about Marchenko. I mean, nobody's mentioning him at all. But
yeah, but Bratt's a guy that's had like a 70-point year before. He's not under the radar.
Several. He shouldn't be, if you know anything. But still, he's a guy you never hear anything about him.
All-star last year.
Yeah. But you never hear about him in hockey circles. So that's just my thought about that one. But again,
I mean, technically,
I did stay round on this one for Marchenko.
Technically, it's not just Bratt though that's leading them in scoring. It's Hughes as well.
Yeah. Well, just saying.
So Mark kind of lied a little bit on there.
The B goes before the H alphabetically.
Oh, stop! Same amount of games, same amount of points,
same amount of points.
Game percentage.
All right, and let's go to a team that's just outside playoff, just the playoff race right now, and it's staggering to me how good they're playing. But the Montreal Canadiens are 1 point out of the playoffs. Bilk, former Ranger and former Lightning. Well, he's really a Lightning. Let's be honest. I'm not going to mention he's a Calgary Flame too. But a former Calgary Flame, Marty St. Louis deserves Jack Adams consideration.
I mean, they're 1 point back of the wild card. They have a game in hand on Columbus. I mean, what are we talking about with consideration? Let's establish that.
Let's get him into the let's say he's the top 4.
Shot.
Okay.
Shot. I can't give somebody that's out of a playoff spot right now, especially like this early. It's if he finishes like very close, then maybe. But I mean, he does have a talented young core of players to work with. They're just a few years and the right additions away. I mean, Lane Hudson is giving him a Calder performance right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's ahead of everyone in rookie scoring, including Macklin Celebrini, who everybody loves. I have a hard time saying that he should be top 4. I could look at John Cooper and say that he deserves to be up there. Spencer Carberry, for what he's doing with Washington, absolutely should be up there. I mean, you could talk about Sheldon Keefe in New Jersey. I mean, you could talk about him there. Craig Berube with Toronto right now is doing a hell of a job. I mean, in the West, I mean, Winnipeg, you could go with – was Scott Arniel in Winnipeg now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You could go with him. In Vegas, Bruce Cassidy. And then in Minnesota is another one. Is it Hines in Minnesota now?
John Hines, doing a great job in Minnesota.
Yeah, I can't put him ahead of any of those guys. I'm sorry. I really can't at this point. And no, just shot. No.
Okay.
And I love Marty. I really do. You know I love Marty, and I know
you love Marty.
I can't.
Anthony, what do you think? Jack Adams consideration for him?
No, I'm gonna go with Philk. I mean, I think he's done a good job, and if he gets the Canadiens actually into a playoff spot, then I absolutely think he would. But for me, it's Carberry, Arniel, and Berube. Those would be my 3 choices right now.
Guys, I'm going to go beer on this one. I actually do think he should get some positive looks on this. There's still a minus 14 in goal differential right now. They were minus 53 last year. Just, ugh. And your goaltenders are Sam Montembeault, who is turning it around. He's having a pretty good season. I mean, they're really are. They're like a lump of clay. They're starting to form. But you kind of thought for a while Marty might be the placeholder coach, and then they'll let him go and they'll bring in somebody that's going to really take them to the next level. Marty might be that guy. And you know something? Good for him. Because I, for one, wish him the best of success. Talk about one of the most likable guys in NHL history.
Jim Hiller definitely needs to get some love.
Thanks,
I mean, Drew Doughty, I don't care how old he is, the guy's going to play like 27 minutes a game until he has to retire, basically. And he still plays at a very high level at that point defensively. So, I mean, yeah, that's a big loss for them. And LA is still in a playoff spot right now. So that's another one I would put up there over Marty. Sorry, Marty, love you, but I can't.
Well, let's go to the guy that is really the talk of the goaltending universe, basically for the last year and now into this one. Connor Hellebuyck secured his 300th win last night. Yeah, you look at the guys that are 9th, 10th, and 11th. You got Jacques Plante, 437, Tony Esposito, 423, Sergei Bobrovsky at 413. Anthony, Connor Hellebuyck will pass 424 wins.
How many wins does he have? 300?
300. He would need 30 a season for the next 4 years.
Well, I mean, he's what, 31 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh. That's a lot. I mean, I guess it depends on how Father Time treats him. I mean, right now he's still the best. He's the best goaltender in the league, bar none. I'm gonna go. Fuck it. If he stays healthy, Well, you said 30 wins for 4 years.
Well, yeah, basically he needs 124 wins. So
125 to pass.
Yeah.
And that's not counting the rest of this year.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go round. Why not? I mean, he's 31. It's not unreasonable to say that he could still be a goaltender capable of getting 30 wins at the age of 35. So, yeah, at first I was kind of like, oh, no way. But now that you kind of break it down that way, I think there's a chance, because you got to assume that next year he's going to be just as good or the same. So it's really maybe the last year or so of that.
Oh,
how much his game fall off. So I'll go around here.
Sorry about that, everybody. I was trying to black out my camera. I blacked out everybody's cameras. And sorry about that too, Anthony.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, Phil, what do you think?
Round. This is give me the damn hoop. Give me the damn hoop. All right. So here's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at, since 2020, and he's done this one other time beforehand, since Igor Shesterkin came up in 2019, 2020, Connor Hellebuyck has led the NHL in shots against and save percentage 3 times previously. He's led the league in shutouts once. He's led in game point shares twice. He is the active all-time goals saved above average leader with 142.4. Like, this is the best goaltender of this generation. It's not even close. He's won 2 Vezinas, Jennings, and he's going to win a 3rd one. You want to know why? Because he's leading the NHL in games played for a goalie, in wins, in shots against, in saves, in goals against with 2.08, in shutouts with 5, in minutes with 19.85 and 45 seconds, in goals saved above average with 24.2. He had 31.8 last year, by the way. He's leading in every analytic and every counting stat there is that is important, except for save percentage. And he was leading, as last I checked a week ago, he was leading in save percentage. So, I mean, yeah, Igor, fuck out of here with that. I can't stand that contract. But it just, this guy is incredible. Like, you don't think that he's going to win another. I mean, he's got 25 wins in 33 games. Like, his numbers look like a Cy Young candidate right now. What the fuck? Like, I can't believe we're even just. Yeah, this is a complete layup. He's probably going to play about 60 games. He's played 67, which is his highest, then 66, 64 2 years ago, and then 60 last year. They're not going to need him to play more than 60 games. So you figure he's got another, let's just say 27 games. How many does he win out of those 27 games? I think he wins at least 20. So that means he's going to need about 100 over the next 3 or so years to pass that. This is a freaking gimme. This is easy money.
Oh, I kind of see what Anthony's saying about Father Time treating him well, but also not just that. Father Time treating Mark Scheifele well. Kyle Connor, does he resign? What?
He's 31.
Right, but also the other players involved in this. Mark Scheifele, does Kyle Connor
He's good enough to get them wins on his own.
All right. I mean, I'm still going to go beer because it looked like Jonathan Quick was going to blow past 400. He has not been able to win number 400. And you just got to hope that it keeps going on. But
Jonathan Quick is
you kind of made a really good case.
Years old, my man.
All right, but you made a really good case. I'm not arguing that. And I do think he can get at least a good 4 or 5 more years out of him. So you're going to see his numbers start to drop off in about 3 years, though.
Quick will be 39 in just under 2 weeks, in 13 days. So.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying from when he was, 5 years ago. All right. Well, guys, you look at the last 10 games, one team that's starting to heat up again, the Edmonton Oilers, they decided, hey, let's go 7-2-1. Problem is, the team they're chasing, the Vegas Golden Knights, who I'm going to be seeing this weekend, they are 9-1 in their last 10. Philk, the Vegas Golden Knights will hold off the Edmonton Oilers to win the Pacific.
I'm going to say beer just because I can see them doing it and I can see them making moves at the deadline. But it's really tough to bet against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, especially when Leon Draisaitl is leading the entire NHL in goals right now and looks like he wants to break 60 for the first time in his career. So it's tough for me to bet against them. They're also going to make moves at the deadline, I think. I think they're going to find a way to clear up space. I think they're not – I would have to say that with McDavid being a free agent after next season – I think that this team has to load up at the next few deadlines. So I'm going to say beer, but I could honestly see this going either way.
Anthony, what do you think?
I'm going to say beer. I like what I like about Vegas is that, there were people that kind of were speculating that maybe they'd fall off a little bit with some of their losses they had in the offseason, and they really didn't do much. I mean, they took a flyer on Victor Olofsson, didn't really make too many moves. I thought maybe they'd be a little weaker, and they're not. They're just a well-coached team. Mark Stone has been very good. Jack Eichel's fabulous. Ivan Barbashev is just continuing his Barbie party. Guy's good hockey player. So yeah, I mean the Oilers, Evander Kane is eventually going to come back. They'll make moves to strengthen their roster. It's going to be close, but my gut is saying probably Vegas for the Pacific.
Oh boy, I am going to go beer as well, guys. It's the rare hat trick of beers that we have, so I'll get that one out there for us. But usually I look to the net to say where my decision is going to be, that it's Stuart Skinner versus Ilya Samsonov for the most part.
Aiden Hill.
Yeah, in Aiden Hill, yeah, but still. I mean, Aiden Hill, you wait for him to just start crumbling. He's got 25 games played. Samsonov has got 15. Aiden Hill still has a career high of games played of 35 in a season. That was last year. And you guys know how I'm constantly on that. Are your goaltenders conditioned to play a lot. And yes, Joey's right about that one. I trust Vegas's depth. The other thing I would also ask about Vegas is how serious do they care about winning the division? Because it wouldn't surprise me if Vegas makes a huge move at the deadline and then benches players for a month just to get them under the salary cap, so that way they could have the expanded cap at the end of the year. It would not surprise me in any way. And Edmonton, they might need that division win. It would not surprise me. They might look for home ice. They might be motivated. I mean, you kind of feel bad for LA if they draw Edmonton again and lose again to Edmonton. But
that would actually be hilarious. I'm sorry.
Right. LA is going to turn around and go, come on, can we go into a different division for once?
Can we change the format? I mean, I would love to change the format, but that's another story.
Every time I think about changing the format, I find things I like about this format, and then I like to keep it. But there are brackets, but still. All right, guys. The Winter Classic was announced today. It was announced, right? This is official?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. But it was announced the Florida Panthers versus the New York Rangers at Lone Depot Park in Miami. That'll be next year on January 2nd. And after the debacle that was this year's Winter Classic, this is the most critical Winter Classic since the original. Guys, I'm going to start this one off. Hands down. Yes, it is the most critical one. It's not so much that it's the fate of the sport is on it, but the fate of the event is on it. This is supposed to be what gets the most eyeballs on during the regular season. Now, part of the problem is it's on TNT. TNT will get you viewers. It's not going to smash viewers the way it would NBC or ABC. The other thing is, if it's in obscurity against a college football playoff game, nobody's going to care. Doesn't matter where it is. The novelty of it being in Florida, that could be very interesting. And then you have to ask the question: is it really a Winter Classic? If it's at Marlins, now Lone Depot Park, is that where the Marlins play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they close the roof, it's like playing indoors. So hard to say about that. But you know what? At least be inventive about it. And also, one of you guys are going to mention that Tampa's got a game as well. So I love the way it's looking right now. Phil, I'll see to you.
Yeah, I mean, again, not the fate of the sport, like you said, but I mean, technically, yes, this is the most critical since the original after, this year's, I guess, blunder, if you will, if you want to call it that. I would say, if anything, okay, this is a little extreme. James Higgins is not Connor McDavid. Let's calm down. Let's calm down a bit over there, buddy.
That's a nice story. That's not.
Yeah, nice story, but it's just not true at all. No, it's. I mean, yeah, it is critical that they bounce back. I mean, if they don't bounce back big time, it's not going to kill them. They're still going to put these on, and the viewership probably hasn't been nearly as good since the original, because the original was a complete novelty, and it had guys like Crosby in it. I still say the original probably should have been the Penguins and the Capitals, and should have been probably in Pittsburgh. But, I would say technically, since it's, by definition, I guess, round. I'll go to you, Anthony, because Mark is.
I'll go beer. I mean, I do think it's important for them to get more eyes on it this year, unlike this year, next year as it was this year, because I think this year was one of the lower ratings in the last couple. Mm-hmm. But that's what happens when you put it on New Year's Eve at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever it was. Didn't make any sense to me. Like, people getting ready to go out, and like it was really dumb. I think they, as I said in the text before, I think they just need not to overthink it. Put it on New Year's Day. I mean, I know there's college football on it on that day, but so people are home on New Year's Day, and if you like hockey, you're going to tune in. And while there are people that like, obviously, both college football and hockey, I would say that, majority of the people that maybe watch a college football game, like watching Clemson play Georgia, how many of them are really that interested in hockey if it's not their team? So I think either way, I don't know how much it matters if they put it up against college football. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel, getting too cute about it. It always worked when it was on New Year's Day, right? Just put it on New Year's Day and just market the shit out of it. Maybe do a better job, but I wouldn't. It's not doomsday though, Mark. Like it's not going to end the Winter Classic if it bombs next year. They're still going to do it. So, but I don't know. I do think that this year's was piss poor planning and really choices that the league made by putting it on New Year's Eve.
And then putting Chicago and St. Louis. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And look, one thing that's going to help, I think, a little bit is that, it's going to be the Florida Panthers and not as many people care. New York Rangers, people care. And whether or not you like them or hate them, you're going to want to watch the Rangers. The other thing is, but Anthony, I know you kind of said that. What?
Who the hell is going to want to watch this team?
Well, that's true, Phil. But I mean, on the other hand,
I could get an aneurysm watching this team right now.
Oh, that is true as well. I would have to say that I'd look at it and then think it's still the number one market. So if you put it up against college football, what's New York's college football team? There isn't any. So it might at least help that. However, I do think maybe put it earlier in the afternoon. Certainly don't put it up against one of the college football playoff games. That's idiocy. And also, what was there, 12 other games that night? Like, whoever decided to do that, guys, just they should be slapped and fired. And in that order. So, all right, guys, that is the end of Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk. Thanks, everybody, for watching that one. And we are very happy having you guys along. Let's move on down and let's do some name this player. I got 3 players that we're going to name on this one. And hopefully this is going to be good enough. You guys can see them all, but let's get this first one in there. And all right. And all right, let's give a guy Anthony up top.
Yeah, I can't really see what.
Don't worry, Phil. I'm going to describe it for the audio people anyway. All right. This guy started his career with the New York Islanders, and then he went on to the Detroit Red Wings. He was just inducted in the International Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's.
Yep. Franz Nielsen is the answer on that one.
Yeah, that was one of probably the easiest. That was probably one of the easiest ones you've ever done.
I didn't even get a chance, but I would have had that in just a second. But.
Well, we discussed it this week, guys, and it was just a way to bring up that Franz, the former Islander, is had a great international career. Well, I mean, I could try going full screen, but it's
you could.
How are you?
Yeah, but then I lose Anthony.
Gun.
See?
So get rid of the name the player banner.
All right, I got rid of name that player. All right, it's a little bit bigger. All right, so let's jump out of there. Let's get to the next one. And we're going to go to this New York native. This New York native started his career with the New Jersey Devils. He would go on to the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. Brian Giunta is the answer on that one. There he is right there. Brian Giunta, the second Canadian captain. Sorry. The second American captain of the Montreal Canadiens. Can anybody name the first?
Max Patch, you ready?
No, he was afterwards. Doug Riseborough?
No, Chris Chelios. He was a co-captain. Chris Chelios. And of course, this last guy, because I tried to go with years for us. I think I went with all of our graduation years, but I might have been off. I didn't graduate in 1842.
Oh, you married.
By the way, that's how you know I'm a married man, guys. All right. Philk, this guy started with the St. Louis Blues. He went on to the New York Rangers, was traded to the Los Angeles Kings. In the same year, he was a New York Ranger. Then he went to Colorado and finished.
Ian LaPerriere.
Ian LaPerriere is the answer on that one. And there was, if you guys remember, one of my favorite guests, I have to say, Neil Smith, who said, I absolutely stole that kid LaPerriere. No, it was 1742. Ow!
Oh, I didn't even go. I don't date anybody that old.
Well, that's the good news. You don't date. Well, you better not date anybody anymore.
Ah,
Okay.
didn't know you guys were swingers.
Yeah, you guys know that I get peanut gallery in here too. I mean,
That's okay. We like when she absolutely chirps you. More chirps, please, Maria.
Well, yeah. Well, that would be the hold on. I haven't used this in a while. The chirp alert. I'd love to start using that one again. All right.
I'm surprised we don't use it more often, considering the chat.
Yes.
Mariota.
By the way, Dave, Maria is a Jet fan, and we were at the game Sunday to see Aaron Rodgers get his 500th touchdown.
Captain
pass.
Ayahuasca got his 500th touchdown.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how about that? No, I think Stan Fischler still has the longest fandom, but I don't think is he Stan even a Ranger fan? But I don't know.
No, I definitely don't think he's a Ranger fan.
No.
This one would make Anthony happy. Go Bills from David.
Yeah, let's go Buffalo.
Because as I'm going to the desert, you're going to Buffalo.
I am flying to Buffalo Saturday afternoon.
Have you ever been?
Yeah, once before when Tony and I first started dating in 2013, I went to a game, but they were dreadful. So like, I mean, this atmosphere is playoff games, so totally different. I'm looking forward to it. Question is, should I jump through a table with Bill's Mafia?
You know something?
If you're either not going through the table with a flying elbow drop, or you're not getting power bombed through one, I'm going to be disappointed.
I'll say this for you, Anthony. I think in your case, you're still young enough to go through the table. I'm dumb enough to try that, and I'm scared of jumping from the height that I would need to. So I guess
I would love to see you jump through a table. Actually, that would be great.
I have a more important question for Anthony before we start getting the blind rankings, guys. Do you already know where you're going for wings?
No, because I don't know the area very well, but one of the guys I'm going with has gone to a bunch of games, so he's going to show me all the good spots.
All right, because the two places I went in the Mark on the Road goes to Buffalo. That was Anchor Bar, which was the home of the original Buffalo wing. Great Americana everywhere. It's just like crazy crap on the walls. And then yes, Duff's was the other one. I was going to say
Bar Bill or Duff's. Okay.
Yeah, all Duff's right. Anthony, go down a degree when you're ordering. Duff's is quite hot. So, yeah.
All right.
So, that's my advice on that one. All right, guys, I got two blind rankings for you, and Anthony, I'm going to start with you because I got the blind ranking, the best coaches in New York Islanders history. And Are you ready? Let's do this.
Jeez.
Why is what? Okay. All right, Anthony, here we go.
Yep.
Let's get number one out of the way. Al Arbor.
I mean, that's one.
No, I'm not even going to trick you. You're going to hold out for Al Arbor, so that's number one. All right. So Peter Laviolette.
Three.
Ted Nolan.
4.
Jack Capuano.
5.
Barry Trotz.
I was saving 2 for Trotz. Yes. 2.
Well, this is one
that
franchise.
Was the easiest one you've ever done.
It's one of the easiest ones. I was trying to get it in the order, but guys, I had to come up with it on the fly. It was also to get a quick discussion of you have Laviolette at 3 and not Capuano, and Nolan ahead of Capuano. Why?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know Capuano had, he had a year of playoff success, I guess you could say. But I mean, Ted Nolan has a much higher pedigree. I mean, as a coach in general. So that was my thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Laviolette did. If you look at that 2001 Islander team, that was a hell of a team, and you had to run into that Toronto team that didn't lose a home game. But I mean, that's still that's a playoff series that's a first round playoff series. Let me correct myself. That I'll still talk about for ages. That was a great playoff series. Phil, going to you. We're going to go to the New York Rangers centers since 2000. Okay. New York Rangers centers since 2000. This one
that's from the 99-2000 season on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not really going to get that specific where you have to worry about it, but
okay.
I do have the first name coming at you. Peter Nedved.
Three.
Derek Stepan.
I'd actually say 4.
Michael Nylander.
Two.
Vinny Trocheck.
I don't want to put him at 5, but I have a feeling that someone's going to be there at 1. It's one of 2 guys that I could think of. So I'm going to have to put him at 5 just for now.
Well, I went to the guy that oversees him, Chris Drury.
Fuck.
I mean, yours was much tougher.
So the guy that I was thinking of that could have been there would have been Eric Lindros or Mika Zibanejad.
Well, the thing about Mika Zibanejad, I think he would be number 1.
I would have put Lindros 1 over. All right. So Lindros at his height in his very first season with the Fly Line was better than any other center they've had. Like, they hadn't seen a center that dominant since Gretzky and Messier.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then Zibanejad has been probably their best center since Lindros. Really. I mean, everybody thought Nylander was a byproduct of Jágr. And then, Drury just underachieved big time. Could have even put Scott Gomez in that discussion. And his 160-point season would have put him over others. But, I mean, I can't say that I would be very high on Derek Stepan. I know he was their number 1 guy for a while. But he was like a 50-point guy in a number 1 center role. And he shouldn't have been there.
Mark.
Yeah, people forget how good they were. Anthony?
I got one for you.
I'm ready.
Rangers goalies, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be ridiculous.
You ready?
I'm waiting for Elon Hizbalichka, Kirk McLean, Guy Hebert, JF Labe.
All right. Kevin Weeks.
I got to go 5.
Steven Valiquette.
Four, because he was a backup. He was a serviceable backup, dominant against the Flyers, even though Weeks, he had more games. So, yeah, 4.
Martin Biron.
Oh, Anthony, you're killing me. Who's waiting for me? I'm gonna go Marty at 3. Excellent backup for Henrik Lundqvist.
Andre Pavlich.
Oh.
See, I knew this was coming.
Should I go to 6?
No.
Andre Pavlich, the rare failure, or just, I guess, not success story to go past Benoit Allaire. I have to put him at 2.
All right.
Oh,
Last one.
Anthony's loving this.
Steve Weeks.
Oh. Can I turn the order upside down?
No.
You know, I was kidding when I said Bob Froze. I didn't know you would actually go all the way to Steve Weeks.
I had a feeling that name might be on there because it's a name that he's used in Puckdoku like quite a bit.
Oh, he loves that at Puckdoku. Yeah. That's always
a good one, Mark. It's a good list.
That's a solid bit of trickery. You start with Kevin Weeks, you end with Steve Weeks.
Yeah.
So you were literally weeks to weeks. So.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, you know, the puns just keep on coming, guys. So sorry about that. All right, let's get some. Let's go to Puckdoku. Anthony, we going right to the pyramid?
Whatever you want.
Bilk pyramid. All right. There's no protesting. There you go. So we got share screen. Let's get it up here, and gonna get you up top again, Ant. So, why is it on? Oh, there it is. Okay, we're gonna start with this one. A goalie with 20 wins in his career. Should I guess Steve Weeks?
I mean, this is the first one's always the easiest one because you could literally like come up with like anybody.
All right, so Steve Weeks, 20 wins in his career. There you go. He played for 2 teams in his career.
Once again, another easy one. I don't know.
And how creative do you want to get? Do you want to go all the way to Eric Fichaud?
Yeah, you could do Eric Fichaud. He played for more than 2 teams.
I watched him when he came up. I thought that kid was going to be something.
So did I.
Something
yeah,
special.
he was supposed to be a French Canadian prodigy for the Isles.
Which, foolish me, Anthony. I should have went with Fichaud because I think did Fichaud play for the Blackhawks?
No.
All right. Because now we got to name a guy that played for 2 teams in his career, 20 wins, and a Blackhawk.
Mark Fitzpatrick.
Mark Fitzpatrick. All right. Mark Fitzpatrick right in there. And now he's got to play for the Blackhawks. Have 20 wins. Played for 2 teams. And the Pittsburgh Penguins. So other than Marc-Andre Fleury,
Joey's right, but you have to save Niemi for the Stanley Cup for this Stanley Cup winner one right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because this top one, they're leading you towards Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
And then Stanley Cup winner Anthony Niemi's here. So this is the one that
I'm going to check a guy that I know he played in St. Louis. I think he did play for the Blackhawks, and I'm correct. He's got 200 wins in his career. So we would qualify for all of these, Mr. Patrick Lalime.
Yeah, he played for the Penguins. Yeah, you do.
So we can use him. We got him ready to go because he's not gonna be some of the other guys.
Sebastian Caron is another one.
Jean-Sebastian Caron.
No, you're thinking of Jean-Sebastian Aubin. Sebastian.
Oh, okay.
It's just Sebastian Caron.
That's right. I mean, I had him in fantasy back in the day.
So you got Lalime, you got Caron.
I think Caron might be your best bet, although he's got the Blackhawks, he's got the Penguins, he's got 26 wins in his career, and he played for 2 teams. Anthony, I think that's the one we go with.
All right,
let's get that one. And we're gonna get the Q&A in a moment, guys. I forgot where the
Penguins.
Yeah, Caron, Sebastian Caron,
47.
Wow.
How many goaltenders fit that criteria? He's at 47. That's absurd.
That is absolutely absurd.
Why is he at 47?
How is he 47? Well, we're going to get to those stats in a second, everybody.
All right. Well, now here, Stanley Cup winner. This is where you use Anthony Niemi.
Anthony Niemi played for Pittsburgh?
Wait, maybe he didn't. Now I'm second guessing
I don't think he
myself.
played for Pittsburgh. Unbelievable. Anthony Niemi played for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
17-18. I completely forgot it, guys. I completely forgot he played for the Penguins, and he played a grand total of 3 games. That's the reason why I forgot about that, everyone. So there's that one. So we'll go with Niemi because that's a smart one to do. Let's see that 47. Jump to 138. And then, of course, the Flower playing out the string right now. So let's go with what the stats say. Obviously, Marc-Andre Fleury was the number 1. He was 100%. There's no way around that one. It was Anthony Niemi at night. Oh, everybody put Anthony Niemi there. That's the reason why we jumped up 91%. So this is the one that got us.
What?
All right.
I'm surprised he's ahead of Lalime and wow.
How do you put Patrick Lalime, a guy with 2? I mean, I could understand some of these other guys, Hank Bassin and
Greg Millen,
Elaine Sheaver. I mean, all these guys were, I mean, before my time. That should tell you how long ago it was.
Yeah.
Again, graduated in 1742, as my wife just said. Sorry, 1842, she said. She corrects me very lovingly from the back. But still, Patrick Lalime, 9% right there. Anthony, that's unbelievable. And of course, this one, Peter Mrazek was the number 1 that they went with because he's the current netminder. But I mean, you could go with a lot of other guys. I thought about going Jeff Hackett on this one, but or Steve Passmore. I love when you run down some of these, or when you just think about a random name like Ray LeBlanc was one that I always kind of think about every now and again. All right.
You would do regular Puckdoku? Where's Filk?
He had to run out for 1 second. He'll be right back in. All right. So yeah, Anthony, let's go with regular Puckdoku right here. As I keep clicking the wrong thing right there. All right, there we go. So we'll do a quick regular one, guys, and let's go with this. Okay. Your x-axis is Chicago, Tampa Bay, 10 wins for a goaltender. The y-axis is the Anaheim Ducks, the Dallas Stars, and the Vancouver Canucks. Anthony, let's go. Who do we got? Who's drawing your attention right away? Although you're probably muted at the moment. No, you're good. All right.
No,
is this where's your daily Didic? Is that
You can use him. Yeah, you could use him for Dallas, Chicago, and you can use him for Vancouver, Chicago.
Huh. You think it would be Dallas, Chicago would be where he goes?
I think both of them are ridiculously low percentage, but I would use him for Dallas, Chicago.
All right, let me just check one guy real quick because I think he would fit in there. There's Phoenix. Okay. How about Jurke Lume, Dallas, Chicago, Vancouver, go Didic?
I think that's gonna be really high if you use Lume for the Dallas, Chicago one.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
I think Chicago and Vancouver, I think Murray Craven might be a good one.
That's a great one, actually. And then we could go back to Didic for your other one. So, all right. Well, we'll find that one out in a second. So, it was Vancouver, Chicago. Let's go with Murray Craven, who, by the way, Murray Craven, have you guys seen the Vegas documentary that's on 1% on Murray Craven? That's on it's Amazon, where it talks about how Murray Craven basically talked the Vegas owner into getting the team, and yeah, it's great. They were fishing buddies, and they were neighbors. Okay, so we have Anaheim, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Anaheim, Dallas, or Vancouver. I'm surprised Anthony hasn't jumped in with like an Adam Creighton or somebody like that yet.
I don't think Creighton's played for.
Yeah, he hasn't. He played for Chicago and Tampa, but he didn't play for. He didn't play for Vancouver, and I don't think he played for Dallas.
Obviously, Vancouver, you could go with Matthias Olin, but that's going to be way too high.
Yeah, that's way too high.
Thank you very much, Matt. We always work hard on this one. Joey McAuliffe is saying Ray Emery for Anaheim. I don't think he ever played for Anaheim, right? Yeah, well, by the way, God
what
bless.
Is that, 10 plus wins for goalie?
Yeah,
10 plus wins for goalie. Yeah, Antoine Vermette finished with Anaheim. How about that? He was there for a while. Phil, do you ever think about Antoine Vermette? The Rangers got him instead of Keith Yandle?
No, they needed somebody, but it just Yandel just wasn't the right guy, and Vigneault didn't use him right.
Yeah, good guy for the locker room. Everybody always spoke highly of him as far as being a good locker room guy. So we got Antoine Vermette that's over here.
It was more so having McDonough on one foot and then losing Zuccarello that really hurt them.
Yeah, well, you lose your highest scorer. That's it. That I've come out and I've said that and gotten some choice words on Twitter recently. A lot of people have been kind of coming at me like I'm the plague. How about for Vancouver, Corey Hirsch, former New York Ranger and silver medal winning goaltender?
Could be for Vancouver.
Who?
Corey Hirsch, or do you think Kay Whitmore?
Did Whitmore ever win? I think Whitmore had to win 10 games.
I think Whitmore had to win 10 a season. Yeah, he's got a 14-win season and 2 18-win seasons. I would say Kay Whitmore then.
I think Whitmore is going to be more popular, but that's just me.
Oh, okay. So which one do you think, Hirsch?
Yeah, go Hirsch.
We're going to go Corey Hirsch. Here we go. 1%.
Dallas
the stats at the end.
Season. John Casey would be too popular. Any Moog. Darcy Wakaluk?
Darcy Wakaluk. Oh, God. What a great name, Darcy Wakaluk. No, it's perfect. It's perfectly timed to do Waka Waka. 18 in a season. So you want to go Darcy Wakaluk?
Try Wakaluk, yeah.
18, 9, and 6, the first season of the Dallas Stars. And but Darcy Wakaluk he's the 10-win season, right?
Yeah. I remember him with Dallas and then Phoenix. What are you, 1%?
Yeah. Yeah, Twitter's no different than anything.
I wonder if you would use Stalenkov or Ron Hugnut.
Stalenkov did win. Oh, well, he won the silver in 98, so people might remember him for that. But could have done Turco for Chicago and Dallas. Yep. But now, well, when you got the Daily Didic locked and loaded, and there are those guys that Anthony loves to use all the time. The Daily Didic, the Constant Crossman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe, by the way, Mikhail Stalenkov, and who did have, he had 15 wins and 13 wins in a 12-win season. The 15 wins were with at Edmonton and Phoenix one year. Edmonton and Florida. But yeah, he had 13 wins. Let's go Stalenkov. Let's see if people remember him. 3%. Oh, boy. Ruining our zero, boys. All right, so we still got the Ducks and Hawks, and still got all those Tampa guys to go through. Bill Holder is always a good one to use, especially for
Anaheim and Tampa Bay. I would
Bill Holder.
say Bill Holder.
Bill Holder's right there. And he's still at 1%, just under that, the 99 percentile. Okay.
Dallas and Tampa, you could technically use Dino Ciccarelli, but that's going to be too popular, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I got one. Sean Chambers.
Sean Chambers, all right. Sean Chambers, under 1%. We're still going strong, guys. And now we just got two left of Tampa Bay and Vancouver and Anaheim and Chicago.
Keith Carney play for Anaheim?
Yes, he did.
I believe he did.
He played for Chicago, too. I know that in the early 90s.
Going with Keith Carney?
Yeah.
I like this one. 2%. Come on, people.
Wow.
It's like the people that spit out, I give you a Lubis Barteshko, and suddenly it's like, 3%. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he played for St. Louis for a short time. I remember him there, but after that.
Did Marc-Andre Bergeron play for Vancouver?
I don't think he did.
Who?
Marc-Andre Bergeron. I don't think he did.
No.
Yeah, he played for Carolina, Anaheim, Tampa, the Islanders, the Oilers.
Yeah. He was one of the rare misses in the that 2003 draft. Wait, right?
Yeah, in that 2003 first round.
He had a howitzer of a shot. Marc-Andre Bergeron.
Yeah, he did, but that was like the best part about him. That was it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. There weren't any other bad picks in that draft, right?
Sean Bell.
Hugh Jackson. Wait, is that the guess, Sean Bell? Or
no? Well, Sean Bell was another bad pick in that draft.
Yeah,
he was taken by
no. Phil knows who I'm referring to.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I don't need to get reminded of that anymore.
And you got to trust the Finn, pin the Finn. Sergio
I don't think
Molesso,
Jussi Jokinen played for Vancouver.
Yeah, I don't think he played for Vancouver either.
It's Vancouver and Tampa.
Jokinen played for a lot of teams, and believe it or not,
I know one, but I think he's a little more obvious than people will say. I would say Brian Bradley, but I think that's going to come up higher than.
Well, Jussi Jokinen did play 14 games for the Vancouver Canucks.
I don't know if he played for Tampa though. Did he?
I had it right here.
I think he did.
Tampa Bay, yes, he did. Played for them in 09.
Adrian O'Coin.
Brian Bradley's going to give you a lower score than Jussi Jokinen.
Ooh, that's a good one. Adrian O'Coin.
I think that's going to be a little higher too.
He only played 26 games for Tampa Bay.
Kind of feeling Adrian O'Coin.
Whatever one you feel like putting, Mark.
I'll go put it in there because we're going to close this out. And I think we're all kind of right on this one. 8 of the uniqueness score. Adrian O'Coin was under 1%.
Under 1%. All right.
Let's see what we could have gone for Anaheim. There were a couple guys that were there. And Steve Weeks.
Steve Weeks, yeah.
Steve Weeks.
Would you guys
Spencer Martin, of course. Kay Whitmore was 9%.
What did you guys end up using?
Corey Hirsch.
For Vancouver and Tampa?
Yeah.
I would have used Brian.
Oh, not Vancouver and Tampa, just 10 wins. This is 10 wins.
No, who is Vancouver and Tampa?
Vancouver, Tampa, Ryan Shannon, Dave Capuano.
No, he's asking who you used for Vancouver and Tampa.
Adrian Aucoin. He fell under 1%. Jan Hlavich, there's a name for your past, and Anatoly Semenov. Anatoly Semenov would have been a good one to use for Anaheim and Tampa as well.
I'll see you guys later.
Big East, Bill. Feel better, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Later, Phil.
Later, boys.
All right. Let's take a couple questions and we'll close this one out. Yeah, not to be confused with the character from Mystery Alaska, who was also Steve Weeks.
So Stefan Rosner from the Hockey News is saying that per industry sources that hold on. Check his exact words there. Per industry sources close to the situation in Vancouver, the Hockey News has learned that the Isles are one of many teams that have inquired about Elias Pettersson.
Every team is going to inquire about Elias Pettersson. So
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first team that's going to inquire about Elias Pettersson is going to be the Vancouver Canucks going, can we fix this?
Yeah. And then he fought 28 minutes ago. He said, per Sammy Silber, who covers the Capitals for the Hockey News, the Isles are one of 13 teams to have a representative at the Canucks Capitals game tonight.
Yeah. And I know I always have that opinion of, I always think scouts do their due diligence, but you're the one that tells me otherwise on that.
Yeah.
Would you go with Noah Dobson going in a trade, other way?
I think if you're the Islanders, and you can get Elias Pettersson in a deal with the centerpiece being Noah Dobson, I think you do it, and I'll tell you why. Well, first off, Elias Pettersson has the pedigree to score 100 points, right? He did it. He did it already. He had 80. I think he had 89 points or 82 points last year. And this year he's having a little bit of a down year, but I mean, with all the controversy in Vancouver, I think that's one of the reasons why, with the rift that he's having. But Elias Pettersson is an elite talent, and Noah Dobson had a 70-point year last year. He's 24 years old. Those type of defensemen don't grow on trees. However, Noah Dobson has the propensity to still have a little too many brain farts in his own end. And, even though if you're an Islander fan, you would hate to see them move Dobson, and then similar to Devon Taves, he goes and, becomes an elite defenseman in the NHL, which Dobson was kind of hovering towards last year with a 70-point year. I think you got to do it. I think you absolutely do that deal for the Islanders. It creates a big hole on the right side of their defense. However, having Elias Pettersson, Bo Horvat, Matt Barzal down the middle helps you more easily trade Brock Nelson at the deadline, because now you're trading Nelson, but you still have Horvat, Pettersson, and Barzal at center ice if you wanted to keep them all at center. So, and the most important thing about that is, I do agree with the majority of Islander fans. I need to retool. Elias Pettersson's only 26 years old. So even though they need to retool, you're getting a player that still fits in with what you're trying to do long term. It's not like he's 30. If he's 30, it's a hard no. He's still young enough to fit in for now and the future. So if the Islanders can get Pettersson in a deal for Dobson, you do it and you don't think twice about it. You figure out how to replace Dobson in the offseason.
Anthony, quick question, because Dave brought this up right here. Who was the last player to score 100 points in a season? Is that Pierre Turgeon?
Pierre Turgeon, yes. Palffy came close. He had 90. I think he had like 97 or 98 points. And then Yashin. I think Yashin only got into the high 70s, and then Barzal 85. Tavares, I think, was an 87-point year. So yeah, it's it's Turgeon there. But yeah, you do the move if for the Islanders you trade Dobson if you can, and you get Pettersson. So I hear Islander fans saying that they should trade Barzal for Pettersson, but even though Pettersson is a better player, Mark, for me it's still too much of a lateral move in the sense that you're trading one offensive player for another one. I think for the Islanders, it's imperative to get more offense. So I think trading Pettersson for Barzal defeats the purpose of anything. So I think Dobson has to be the piece to go there.
All right.
State of Survival saying Nelson Pulock, but the Canucks aren't going to trade Pettersson for 33-year-old pending UFA and Brock Nelson and a Ryan Pulock who's getting a little older himself. It doesn't make sense. If and when they trade Pettersson, it's going to be for a player like Dobson who's young, a 24-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 26-year-old. A package of Nelson of Pulock is a pipe dream for the Islanders.
All right. We're going to go about another 4 more minutes, guys, because that'll actually bring us to about 2 hours. So we had a full pack show today. Joey's saying Pulock is pulling off a cliff.
Yeah.
You had a choice of which one to go, Pulock or Pelech. Which one?
Which one to trade?
Yeah.
I would trade Pelech just because Pulock is usually a little healthier. More and Pelech, I feel like he's always dealing with something. But as Joey says, in the off season, I would entertain trading both of them, to be honest with you. But with how the lack of turning over the roster, that's probably unrealistic. Yeah, I know Vegas always pulls the hat out of the rabbit out of the hat there, but this time I don't see that ever happening there. Yeah, of course, saying glass ceiling. And as Pettersson relates to the Rangers, you trade Lafreniere for him any day of the week. I think that would be incredibly silly if a deal like that was ever on the table and Drury said no. I mean, Lafreniere had a fabulous year last year and he still only scored 57 points. I mean, you kidding me? Like, if you choose Elias Pettersson over Lafreniere every day of the week, Mark. I don't know what your thought is on that, but I would trade him in a heartbeat for Pettersson.
Again, you would trade him because you need the center, and it's just there's moving parts in there. The Rangers did not develop these players, and who knows if they'll ever develop them now, because you can't just plant a seed in the ground after just move it from one place to another, and then it's just going to grow to its best. So I don't know. Trying to use a metaphor that's not really fitting at the moment. Can't exactly highlight that one. Blue City, how we doing? And now Lop is getting more power play minutes. It isn't making much difference. Yeah, Lafreniere there's a lot of these guys. You just don't know about how they're doing.
What?
I don't know. I just rambled. Who's going to claim Daniel Sprong? Do you think the Islanders get him?
I mean, in the waiver priority right now, but I think there's only maybe Buffalo, Chicago, Nashville. Yeah, so I mean the Islanders have the only team. So Chicago, San Jose, Nashville, Buffalo, and then obviously Seattle have a better priority. But Seattle already let him go, so it's not them. So you're talking Chicago, San Jose, Nashville, Buffalo. Will he get past one of those teams? I mean, San Jose has no reason to claim him. They're not winning anything. Chicago. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I'm just, for me, the way I look at it is tired of looking at Matt Martin and Pierre Engvall playing and like doing nothing. Like at least Daniel Sprong has some offensive ability in his game. So, and it's cheap. He makes $800,000. So yeah, I mean, if they can, why not? Why not claim them?
All right, Anthony, I got to do some packing, so we're gonna hit the music right now.
Yeah, you look like you've been in space the last 2 minutes. Not really.
Yeah, no, there's just thoughts going through my head because again, I'm just thinking about some of the things, just getting ready for tomorrow.
You leave tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. flight. So we're gonna be on a train at about 6:15, 6:30 train is what we're trying to hit. But I mean, we're gonna walk out of here, make sure everything's ready, and anyway, but yeah, so it's gonna be a great time. Can't wait for it.
Frank saying, why are you packing? Maria kicked them out. She gave him his
no, she definitely did not. No, Frank, we're going to you didn't do anything. We're going to Vegas, and that's what we can't wait for.
Are you going to both? Are you going to
both games? Seeing the Islanders and the Rangers in that, and
nice,
and in Vegas. This will be my first actual Vegas experience. Well, it's my second Vegas experience, but the first one for the channel.
And when do you come back?
Sunday night. Sunday night we're back.
Okay.
Really quick, State of Survival is asking, what happened to Siplikov? He's not playing as well as he has the last few games.
I mean, Waz moved him up and down the lineup a couple of times, but he's like the least of the concern. So, and yes, Bills buy $1 billion on Sunday. So
who do the Bills got?
Denver.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, you enjoy Vegas. I'll go freeze my ass off in Buffalo, and we'll reconvene next week.
Well, have a great time, and definitely enjoy. I would say try out what do you call it? Duff's. I like their wings better than Anchor Bar, but
okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think it's south of where the stadium is, but it's going to be
all right.
Time. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and have a good night. Great always seeing you guys and joining us for Big Apple Hockey.